Hello students. Now, before we begin today's lesson, what I would like you to do is actually to look around you. Make sure you've got all your equipment with you, okay? Have you got your pencil, your pen? Have you got your green pen? Have you got your ruler? Have you got your book? Now, another thing I'm going to be asking you to actually get is a plain white paper, okay? I'll tell you what you need to do with that paper in a sec, but I need you to gather this stuff, okay? What I'd like you to do is to pause the video, get everything ready, and then press play to begin. All right. Are you ready? All right, set and go. Now, last lesson, we were actually looking at the different states of matter, okay? Solid, liquid, and gas, okay? And we discussed much about it. Now, today we're actually looking at understanding what a particle model is. So when something is a model is to represent something, okay? How do we represent particles? And that is what we're going to be talking about today. So what I would like you to do, like we always do, is to write down our learning objective to understand what a particle model is, okay? So pause the video and write this down. All right. Are you ready? Brilliant. Now, we've got our retriever questions, okay? Our retriever practice questions. Remember, the point of our retriever practice questions is to remind us of what we've been learning, okay? So, if you didn't get the answers right, or if you do not know the answers, that is fine. What is quite important is the fact that you can make that corrections at the end using your green pen and making sure you know it now. Remember, if you still do not understand it, make sure you speak to the teacher, okay? You can send us an email to the science department and we'll be able to answer you, okay? Okay, so we've got 6 retriever questions. I'll give you around 4 minutes, okay? So pause the video and answer the questions. All right, can we continue? Brilliant. Now, so the first question says copper carbonate is a solid at room temperature. So when we say room temperature, at normal temperature without adding or increasing anything, and as the formula CuCO3, okay? Which elements are present in this solid? Now, remember, whenever you see a capital letter, uppercase, that represents an element, okay? When you see a lowercase, it's actually next to the capital one. So Cu, okay, it's not C and then U, so it's Cu. So the question is asking you, which elements are present in this solid? What do you think? Okay, so read with me. So Cu is copper, okay? Cu represents copper. So we've got copper, and then C, if you look at your periodic table from your diary, okay, if you look at the back, you would see that C represents carbon. Okay, the word carbon. And O represents oxygen. Now, the fact that it's O3 pretty much means there are 3 atoms of oxygen. Am I making sense? Brilliant. Now, I'm going to be showing you the answer in a second, okay? But just have a look at your work and keep marking it. But I'll show you the answers and I'll give you time to write down. Now, number 2 says, what is the state of matter? What is the state of water in a room temperature? So in a normal temperature without making any change, what is the state of matter? What do you think? Oh yes. it's liquid. Okay, water in room temperature is liquid. Okay, obviously if you increase the temperature, then it changes state from liquid to gas. If you drop the temperature, it changes from liquid to solid. Okay, am I making sense again? Brilliant. So the question is now asking you, what is the formula for water? I remember showing you this last lesson. So what have you written down? Yes. Okay. Now, water is made up of two different atoms, okay? Two different elements, let me say. Okay? We've got the hydrogen and we've got the oxygen. This time there are two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. Have you heard of the word H2O? Yes, exactly. Water, H2O. And the formula is H2O basically. Okay, so we've got hydrogen and we've got oxygen. Those are the two elements that are present. All right, question 4. What is a solid? Sulfur is solid at room temperature. What is the symbol for sulfur? Again, if I were you, I would have looked to my periodic table or pretty much guessed. Okay, sulfur is represented by S on the periodic table. All right, good. Now, number 5 says magnesium oxide, MgO, okay? Remember, M and G is together because M represents the element and G means it's part of it, okay? So MgO is a solid at room temperature. What elements are present in this compound? I'll tell you, we've got magnesium and oxygen, okay? Number 6 might be a little tricky, but do not worry, okay? Now, the question is saying, now this is sulfuric acid, H2SO4, okay? It's telling you sulfuric acid is a liquid at room temperature, okay? How many atoms are present? How many atoms in all of it? It's not saying how many atoms in hydrogen, it's saying how many atoms in everything. So let's look at it together. Hydrogen has got 2, okay? Brilliant. Sulfur, there's nothing there, so it's 1. So 2 plus 1, 3, okay? And oxygen has got 4, okay? So that is what? So 3 plus 4, 7. Okay, am I making sense? Good. And the extension question is saying O2 is a gas at room temperature. Oxygen is the atomic molecule. What do you think the atomic means? The word di means 2, di. So that in natural state, oxygen is represented by 2 atoms, okay? 2 atoms of oxygen. That is why whenever I write oxygen, write it as O2. We don't just write oxygen on its own, okay? It exists as 2 molecules together, 2 atoms. Now, these are your answers, okay? What I would like you to do is to write it down. Now, the answer for this is not 9. The answer is 7 because 2, okay, plus 1, that's 3. Then 3 plus 4 is 7. So ignore number 6. Number 6 is 7, not 9, okay? Okay, I'm sure you've done really well. But remember, what's quite important for you is to actually make those corrections if you didn't get it right, okay? Now, let me remind you again, number 6 is 7, okay? It is not 9. That's just a typo. Okay, moving on. Now, our success criteria, okay, is hopefully we can be able to develop our knowledge and able to state what everything is made up of. To state everything is made up of particles in a particular arrangement, okay? There's a way we can represent solid, liquid, and gas, okay? Now, to secure our knowledge, we should be able to draw different particle models for different states of matter, okay? And mastering, for we to be legends, like I said in our last lesson, we should be able to explain using particle models why something is solid, liquid, or gas. Now, remember the piece of paper I've asked you to bring in, okay? We're going to be using it. Now, on that piece of paper, okay, what I would like you to do is I'd like you to draw 3 squares, okay, separately. Not too big, just small ones, okay? Small ones. 3 squares. Okay, once you have done the square, I need you to label it solid. On top of the square, okay, not inside the square, on top of it, write solid, liquid, and gas. Pause the video and do that. Okay, have you done that? Brilliant. Now, the question now is, how do you think the particles are arranged in a solid? Using circle to represent it, okay? So inside that box, I need you to use circle to represent how you think solid are arranged. Okay, what makes it solid? How liquid are arranged and how gases are arranged. So I need you to do that, okay? I'm going to give you about 2-3 minutes, excuse me, to do that, okay? So I need you to pause the video and do it. Okay, are you all done? Brilliant. Let's move on. Now let's look at this. Okay, this is actually what I was expecting from us. Okay, look at solid. They are all arranged together. They're packed together. When we look at liquid, it's a little free. Okay, and when you look at gas, the particles are actually more freer. Okay, they can move and bounce around. But solid, they can't really move. All they can do really is to vibrate. Okay, they could just vibrate. So what I would like you to do is to actually mark your work. If I haven't got any right, I need you to draw it again. And after drawing it, I need you to get scissors. Be careful with the scissors, okay? I need you to cut that square out, okay? For each of them. So cut the square for the solid, the square for the liquid, and the square for the gas. Do that. So pause the video and do it. Okay, all done? Brilliant. Now, what I need you to do, okay, is to actually draw this table and actually stick the drawings, okay, the models on this and describe what they are, okay? Describe their movement, okay? So again, pause the video and do that. Okay, are you all done? Now, this is something I'm expecting us to have, okay? So I need you to pause the video again. And this is actually the last thing we're doing. I need you to pause the video and mark your work, okay? Now, remember, if you do not understand it, if you didn't get it right, no worries, okay? No need to stress about it. What's important, again, is to make those corrections. And if you still do not get it, please email us, okay? Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you comment on some of the things you've learned as well. It will be brilliant to hear your thoughts on, the comment section on the YouTube channel. All right, I'll see you in the next science lesson. Bye.